Morning, folks. I'm here to talk a little bit about Lesson 7 in Computer Science on Code.org. We spoke the other day about putting in parameters, and those parameters were intended to modify the move forward, turn left functions to reflect values that we could customize. And so I kind of gave you a little heads up when we were in 6 into what was coming into 7. And maybe you were using those when you're in 6. And if you were, awesome. If not, you're going to be using them now, which is in Lesson 7. So if you go to code.org, you go to lesson 7 in unit 3, that is APIs and function parameters right here. It's going to take you to kind of the, let's just scroll down to it, it's right here. You can click the lesson overview. I like to just jump right into number 2 here, which is our lesson. Our first thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be moving our turtle forward. I want you to notice a couple of things that I think that are important, and that is we've already talked about the fact that if we change the value here that's inside the parentheses in our commands, that we can change the movement of our turtle. So this is set to 100, and if we run it, we're going to find that it moves quite a bit. The turtle moves quite a bit. If we change this value to 25 and we reset and run again, it's a much smaller amount. Now, if we remove the 25 from the parentheses and we reset and we run it again, notice that it moves the exact same amount. So 25 is the amount. I also want you to notice that if you place your cursor over a function now, it is going to give you some information. So it says that this function moves the turtle, and then it talks about the idea that you can see examples. So if you click that, this allows us to see examples of that function being used. This is really, really handy as you move forward with your program and you're like, God, I just don't remember how to use this function. You can go in here and see. This is common across many, many programming languages, and it helps you to understand because when you're programming, you may encounter things that you want to do. There are commands that allow you to do it, but maybe you just don't know about those commands yet. You haven't used one yet. That's very, very common. So as you move forward as a programmer, you're going to have to research what those commands are. You'll see examples about how those things are used, and that's going to inform how you make your decisions going forward about how to write your program and what commands to use and how do you use those commands. So like anything, when you're programming, it's a learning process and it's something you have to kind of experiment with. The other thing I want to show you is on the screen, if we reset this, notice that my cursor shows an X and a Y value. And as I move up and down, notice that Y value is getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Y is, of course, the vertical, the up and the down, right? Remember that from math class. X is the left and the right. So notice as I go left and right, my X is moving quite a bit. So I have different values. If I go all the way up here to the corner, I can set X and Y to 0. That is the top left-hand corner is the XY of 0. And then as we move to the right, the X value increases. And as we move down, the Y value increases. So what we can do is we can set a value. If we notice the position of our turtle right now, our turtle position right now is around Y 240. If we want to move our turtle all the way to the top of the screen from its position here, we could put in a value of 240 in here, and let's see it run. Boom. And our turtle goes to the top of the screen. All right, so this unit involves us moving our turtle in different ways using parameters. Parameters are the values that you put in between the parentheses here that allow us to move. And remember, yesterday we talked that move forward was in pixels, and these pixels are given to you. Remember those little dots that light up on the screen? That is indicated by the X and Y values of your cursor in here, okay? And then, when you look about using turn left, which was our previous command, it is in an angle. Remembering that angles of 90 degrees are a complete turn to the left. So let's look at turn left 90. It turns 90 degrees to the left. So you're turning the turtle from a position of north to west if we had a compass. Okay, that's the way it's working. Notice that if I leave the parameter blank, I also get 90 degrees. So the empty parameter is 90 degrees. So if I want it to move 45 degrees, I can type that 45 in there. It will move left 45 degrees, halfway between north and west position on the compass, right? So this is something that you're going to have to play with a little bit. Notice that down here we want to create a triangle that is pointing to the right. So you're going to have to draw this thing out. And it's also telling us that it wants to be 100 pixels long. So using the information that we talked about before, you should be able to specify the number of pixels, specify the angles, and draw this object. The last thing I want to talk about today is the fact that we're going to get even more functions and commands given to us down here. Notice that pen width is a new thing. We can now set the width of the pen. So let's see examples of that. Pen width of 10. This could be a value. And we want to draw a line that's 10 pixels wide and that is 100 pixels long. We would put these in. We set our pen width to 10 and we set our motion. Remember, you have to set your pen width before you start to move the turtle. If you set the pen width after you've moved the turtle, the only way that pen width change is going to take effect is after you move the turtle again. So remember, you have to be intentional about when you set the pen width, because only after you've changed it will it draw with that new width. Let's take a look. Also, pen color. We have the ability to set the pen color. That's new. There are several colors available. It looks as if we can put in colors by name. We can also put in the hex value of those colors. We can also put in the RGB values of those colors. This gives us many, many options. Notice that the colors are available by word in many different colors. I don't think it gives us all of the colors, but at least in here we can do red, we can do magenta, we can do pink, we can do purple, we'll probably do white, black. I don't know the exact complete number of different colors that we can do by specifying the name, but we can also do RGB or hex, which would allow us to do any color that we can possibly imagine. So as we go down here, remember, use the instructions. They are going to help us. Our goal here is to create a thick, wide blue square. So let's just try one out. I don't know that this is going to be the exact thing that we're going for, but let's just set one up and try to draw it. So let's set the pen width first. We're going to set the pen width to be something a little bit bigger than what it is. By default, it's 3. So let's go like with a pen width of 15, really wide. And then let's set the pen color. And we'll do that and set that to, I don't want red. Let's go yellow. Hopefully that is looks like a functional color. It didn't give me an error. And then let's go move forward so many pixels. Let's go, oh, whoops. Sometimes that happens. We have to be careful. If we put this in incorrectly, the wrong spot by accident, we may have trouble. So if that happens, you have to delete the text. So we will be moving forward right down here. And we'll do this by 100. So with lots of movement. Let's go ahead and see what it draws. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Now, notice that we also have turn right. We used to not have turn right. We used to have to do turn left 270, which would essentially get us a turn right. But now we have a function called turn right. So let's go ahead and just use it. Turn right, 90 is the default. That's what I want to do. I want to go from a position of north to a position of east on the compass. And then let's move forward again. But this time let's move forward 25 pixels. We'll create a rectangle. Let's reset and see it run. Nice. And now what we'll do is we'll turn right one more time. That gives us 90 degrees of turn. So now we're headed east. We'll turn right 90 degrees. That'll make the turtle face south or down on the screen. And then we'll move forward again by the same 100 pixels to match the line that we have there, the vertical line that we had originally. So let's make this 100. And let's reset and watch it work. Nice. So last one, we're going to move right one more time. And remember, we can move right 90 degrees, and that will get us pointing to the west, the left-hand side of the screen that you see. Or we could alternatively put in a left 270. So if we did a left 270, the turtle would move right here to the east, then it would move to the north, then it would move to the west. It's essentially the same function. So let's throw it in there and just try it out just for fun. We'll turn left 270. Let's run it, see what happens. Notice that's also the same function as turning right at the very end. And so our last piece is just move forward. And we're going to move forward just the 25. Whoops. And notice again, I continue to make that mistake. Be careful. It's easy to do. When you pull these in, okay, you want to make sure they're down below, or you don't want to make a mistake Melanson's made. And then reset, run, boom. We've made ourselves a rectangle. So I'm going to leave the rest of this up to you. There's a few more lessons to go through, but I think I've given you a pretty good overview of what's happening in this. You want to complete all the different challenges that are listed here. I believe if we look, I believe that you'll see that there are 6 total. Let's just verify that. Actually a few more. In this one, there's 8 total ones. So what I'd like you to do is go ahead and follow through all of these lessons in the introduction to parameters. When you get those things done and you get those things completed, I can see your progress in code.org, so I'm going to be updating each and every day. Anyone that does these assignments, I'll be updating your progress, and I can see exactly where you're at. So I'm going to try to comment as much as I can on people's work. If you have any questions, just shoot me an email. We can chat on Google Meet or something like that if you want, or we can have some kind of conversation if you're having any issues. And I wish you good luck with this stuff. I'll talk to you soon.